You have to run more plays to get more of the play actions. The drag slides that you see all over the place where guys come underneath the play and leak out in the opposite flat. A lot of teams are having all sorts of success with that sort of thing. It's kind of like misdirection, short passing game, and we don't do it that much. We do it some. I mean, it just feels like the things that we do, they're just toned down a little bit. If we do motion, it's not nearly as much as the teams that do.
Yeah, no, I that's correct. All right, Bad to the Bone Award. We do it when they win. We do it when they lose. When they lose, it's you bad, and that's blame balls. When they win, it's you badass, and that's game balls. Let's crank out the Bad to the Bone Award. And we certainly like the game balls more than the blame balls. John Ritchie always with the first game ball, or at least giving it to someone. John, who's the game ball going to?
Jaylen Carter was unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
He brought this defense back. Well, it's not like the defense really went anywhere, but things were a bit more of a struggle in terms of stopping the run. Getting penetration against the pass. It does feel like the edges come alive when you've got Jaylen Carter in there. Think about it. The edges are alive when Jaylen Carter plays. He's
healthy.
He's in there. Yeah, when Jaylen's healthy, he just draws those blockers. And you got Jalix Hunt having a heck of a day out there off the edge. You got Jalen Phillips having a great day coming off the other edge. And a lot of that is thanks to Jaylen Carter and stopping the run once again. That play that they highlighted and replayed where he beat the guard and just swatted him and penetrated, like, he is such a physically dominant player. It's going to be so hard to tell him, hey, we need you to continue to prove it. We need you to continue to prove how great you are because you were injured so much this year and because we aren't sure still if you've gotten the maturity you need for us to put hundreds of millions of dollars into you.
By the way, that offensive lineman that got poked in the eye, the guy said after the game he thinks Jaylen Carter did it on purpose. So, and I don't know if he did or didn't, but I'm just saying these are the kind of things. If the player thinks that, the other team could send it to the league.
The black
if they
book
do,
on him is not good.
Yeah, I mean that stuff's a concern. But I thought he was the clear player of the game.
Oh,
Louis Coco in for Seltzer today. Louis, a far finer producer than Seltzer's ever been. Or ever could be. Louis, Bad to the Bone Award. Who's the game ball go to?
We're kicking Seltzer while he's down, and he might be on the concrete still. I'm not really sure after falling off the table. But obviously the defense was the story of the game there. If John didn't take Jaylen Carter, I would have A, been surprised, and B, taken Jaylen Carter for my game ball. But I'm going to stay on the defensive side of the ball. I'm looking at the amount of tackles guys were making. I thought Cooper DeJean had a pretty damn good game, too. He came up out of coverage a few times. He's such a pure tackler. We know that already. He talked about how he was trained even in college to tackle. By
the way, Louis, his coolest play of the game didn't even count.
Right.
It was when he shoved the guy.
Oh, my God.
You're not picking up the football. I'm picking up the football.
No, and that's a badass move by DeJean. And
smart.
Frankly, I was going to say, second-year
really
smart.
Smart.
Making just a high IQ football play like that.
That comes from a guy playing a lot of special teams, a guy that, loves playing football. A guy who goes out and when a coach asks him in high school, hey, who wants to cover a kick?
Yeah.
And he's the first to raise his hand. A guy who just has that feel for playing football. For being a player.
That was awesome.
Yeah, so Coop's my guy.
All right, Devin, what do you got? Game ball.
So I was going to go defense, and I don't think anyone else is going to take Jahad Campbell. I'm not going to take him, but I do want to shout him out for stepping in for Nakobe Dean and playing really well. He even, recovered that fumble. I'm going to go with Jake Elliott, guys. Jake Elliott, because he's had his ups and downs this season. Obviously, last week missed 2 field goals the same exact way. Came back in horrendous weather, horrendous conditions, and was perfect. And it was the difference. It was the difference because they won by 1 point. So you realize how important the kicker is, and he, didn't let that outside noise get to him. So Jake Elliott
also gets to 1,000 points in his Eagles career, which of course goes back to the early part of the 2017 season. Akers, I assume, is the other guy with 1,000. I mean,
I would assume.
Sirianni said he's the second guy, so I guess Akers is the other. Look, my game ball is going to go to Vic Fangio. Guys, I've seen a lot of coaching across all 4 teams in Philly sports through the years, and I am convinced Fangio is one of the great coaches we've ever had here in town. John Chaney was a great coach. Jay Wright was a great coach. Larry Brown was a great coach. I usually think that those 3 might be the 3 best head coaches I've seen in my lifetime. Keenan was great in hockey. I mean, we've had some really good ones. I think Sirianni's a great coach, but I am certain Fangio is. And, I guess I'd put it this way. Sometimes the sum of the parts is less than you expect, and sometimes it's what you expect, and then sometimes it's more than you expect. And I would say, and look, the Eagles have excellent talent defensively, and Howie Roseman deserves a big attaboy for reconstructing this defense after losing a bunch of starters because of salary cap realities from last season, and you just can't keep them all. So good job by Howie rebuilding it. And obviously you had your foundation with Jaylen Carter, Cooper DeJean, Quinyon Mitchell, and Zach Bond, who they retained. But Fangio is special. I've seen enough football to know Fangio is freaking special. And great hire by Howie Roseman a couple years ago, bringing that guy in.
That's a tough team. They have a lot of belief. They know that they can win in the postseason. That's a really strong fan base too. That they make it loud when it's supposed to be loud. They're smart, and much like the Philadelphia fan base. And the weather was hellacious. I mean, it truly was. Tom Brady was talking about it on the TV copy. Guys who were wearing a certain type of gloves had no chance at all of even holding onto the ball yesterday.
Yeah,
it was sloppy. You could see the giant puddles as guys were getting tackled. And that's a puddle that's 33 degrees, or something, like 35 degrees. Can you imagine what that's like? Like a cold tub that when you get in a cold plunge, they used to put our cold plunges at 52 degrees.
Wow.
The water was 52 degrees. So whatever those puddles are, they're 45 degrees or whatever it is, they are freezing. And you can't get it off of you. You are soaked through to the bone with that stuff. It's just awful. You're numb, beyond numb. Like, sure, you can wear gloves that are sticky, but your fingers can't feel because they're so cold. So good luck catching it. That's why Tom Brady's talking about you got to drill it into a guy's body and just hope those gloves secure the catch.
I thought Brady's commentary there was good. Where I thought the commentary was disastrous with both announcers, it was when they kept talking about the possibility that Josh Allen threw an incomplete pass on the fumble. And I'm like, well, if it's an incomplete pass,
Tom Brady has some experience with
he does
with throwing fumbling and then having people call it an incomplete pass.
But I wanted to jump through the TV and ask him, well, if he's throwing the ball, who's he throwing it to?
Right?
Was he throwing it to the defender's stomach?
That was just dumb.
I mean, what? It was for like a minute. They're going on about might be a pass, really might be a pass. Who's he throwing the ball to?
Our offense. What we learned from
thank you.
Our offense sometimes looks foolish. Our offense looked foolish in the second half yesterday.
Yeah,
against what's a pretty good defense. I mean, Sean McDermott, when he was my coach here in Philadelphia, he was on the defensive side of the football, the defensive backs coach and linebackers. He knows that stuff. He's Jim Johnson's guy, man.
Who's that, McDermott?
Jim Johnson's guy back in the day. Think about
Andy
that.
fired. Andy fired him.
But that's a proud defense over there. That was the number one pass defense in all of football, and it's a huge point of pride. They had to try to win that game for major seeding to win their division. They're neck and neck with the New England Patriots. That was a huge game. They had every reason to win it motivation wise. And we somehow came out on top. Our offense did not look good, but our offense has shown that when all the chips are on the table, the quarterback especially can surprise the world.
Well, he's shown it at times, and then other times
he's shown it when the games matter most.
No, I know, but he's also had clunkers in the playoffs, so it's like we'll see which one we get this year.
long ago.
Well, 2 years ago.